The web of political intrigue around President Jacob Zuma is starting to hurt the business interests of his closest allies. The South African president has been criticised for links to the powerful Gupta family. And now the Guptas themselves are being abandoned by the wider financial community. So, let's start and explain all the links to Jacob Zuma. The Gupta family has been criticised for supposedly sounding out a new finance ministers. Today, the Guptas resigned from their own company called Oak Bay Investments and Oak Bay Resources. One of the reasons why Oak Bay was under financial pressure because of relationships with the Guptas. Look at who's decided not to do business with Oak Bay. KPMG, Barclays, FNB, First National Bank, and a variety of others all cut ties with Oak Bay because the chairman and the chief exec were the Guptas, the controlling interest was the Guptas, and the Guptas had a relationship with Jacob Zuma. Further complicating matters, if that were possible, President Zuma's own son, Dlamini Zuma, who stepped down from an Oak Bay subsidiary. What it's all meant, if you take a look at that, is that Oak Bay itself suddenly found itself unable to do any banking without financial support, writing to its employees, basically telling them that if we don't sort something out, we're going out of business. Joining me now exclusively from Johannesburg is Nazim Howard, the Chief Executive of Oak Bay Resources. Sir, thank you for joining us. We have much ground to cover. First of all, what did the banks tell you when they said, we're no longer doing business with you, we're closing your accounts?
Well, thank you, Richard, and thanks for having me on the show. Well, the banks have been very, very scarce in their information to us. They've primarily told us that in terms of their terms and conditions, they have the right to cancel our banking facilities. And they've used the reasoning of reputational damage to themselves. Not one of them have come forward with anything we've done wrong or anything we may not have done correctly in our relationships with them. So primarily they've used reputational risk and saying to us that in terms of their terms and conditions, they have the right to cancel our banking facilities.
KPMG actually used the phrase, the association risk is too great to continue. By that, I assume they're talking about the association risk with the Guptas and with the president.
Well, I think they have nothing to do with the president. They have been our auditors for 16 years. In their announcement to the staff, they say there is no audit issue at all. And the sense I have is that they've been under a bit of pressure from clients to not do business with us. But certainly it was a sad day for them and a sad day for us. We've got strong relationships with KPMG.
Have you been in touch with government to protest against this and basically now ask for help?
Well, Richard, for us, the primary concern is that we are likely, to face major challenges paying the salaries of our staff. And we have at the moment 4,500 staff. We're in the process of closing another transaction which will double that number. And our concern is for the well-being of the staff and their families. And, that could number up to 60 or 70,000 people. So today, yes, indeed. After we announced the fact that the shareholder was stepping back, a very tough decision for the shareholder, something they've built, they've had to step away from. I did indeed write letters this morning to the presidency, to the Minister of Finance, who governs it, who governs the banking sector, to the Minister of Labour, to warn of the imminent possibility of job losses, and to the Minister of Mining, because I think we supply a strategic supply of coal to Eskom, the power supplier, and that would be at risk if we were to go out of business. But our appeal really was on behalf of our staff, because they've put heart and soul into our business, and it really is not fair that an attack on us and our shareholder should affect our rank and file staff.
Whatever the fairness of the attack and the decision by the banks, you and I and everybody watching all knows this is about the Gupta family, who you describe as your shareholder, the Gupta family and what is believed to be their relationship with the government, their alleged corrupt relationship with the government, the state capture in many cases, as seen by some. That's what this is about, isn't it?
Well, I think we've had perceptions built over a period of time, primarily by our local media and followed up a bit by the international media. And very simply, in our latest audited financials by KPMG, in fact, we show that we have 1% of our turnover coming from government business. So if 1% can be equated to state capture, I think we've failed quite fundamentally in that regard. We are really a very small player. In terms of coal supply, we're 5% of the total coal supply
right, but
of the
it's
country.
Not you. You're
so
the victim.
We are minnow.
Your Oak Bay is the innocent victim here. This is about the Gupta family, isn't it?
Well, I think it's not about the Gupta family. I think it's about the president. And I think we've just been caught up in a political war around the future of the presidency. That's my own reading of it. Certainly, I don't believe we've done anything. I don't think we've claimed to have any special relationship with the president or any of the other politicians. Like any other business, we have relationships with business people, government people, anybody else, but they all are transparent relationships. They're arm's length relationships. There's been nothing untoward in any one of those. Given our very good judiciary, if we did do something wrong, we'd be in a court of law right now.
I'm just going to take a punt here, bearing in mind the Constitutional Court's decision last week. Do you now think that this is really all about, from your point of view, whether President Zuma survives in office?
From our point of view is we try and steer clear of politics. Our view is that we started building our business. In fact, before the fall of the apartheid regime, we started building our business. We still had F.W. de Klerk as president. Our business has grown through fits and starts through 3 other presidents before Jacob Zuma. It was always the dream of the shareholder that we'd grow the business beyond President Jacob Zuma. So, we really are business people, and we do not want to meddle in politics or be interfered with through political processes.
Final question, sir, briefly. How long has Oak Bay got, whether it's resources, money in the bank, whatever it's like, how long before you have to shut the doors now you haven't got the banks?
We've got money. Money is not our issue. Our issue is the ability to transact, and that's where our concern about our 4,000 or going to be 10,000 staff when we close the Optimum coal mine transaction. So our worry is about being able to pay salaries and being able to pay our service providers. The agreement with the banks is they will close our accounts at the end of May, the first week of June, and we hope that through the very brave action from our shareholders to step away from the business, we can meet with the banks next week and implore them to reconsider in the interests of our staff.
Sir, we thank you for joining us tonight from Johannesburg. It's good of you to give us time. It's late there. We thank you, sir. Speaking exclusively live on Quest Means Business.